And we're back! This guy alone, and the fact that I intended to cover him from the very first video, is a very large reason of why I did not even bother making this a full no-damage run of Demon's Crest. He has some very nasty attacks. This form, the first two, his hitbox is the larger half. And most of the time he wants to keep you underneath him, which works well for you in one scenario. He has one attack where he'll glow red, he'll move to the middle of the screen, and afterwards he'll rain death down on you. But he's switching to his vulnerable form, where we'll want to switch from armor to Fang. We want to keep Ultimate Gargoyle on, obviously. And whenever he switches to that form, we'll go back to armor, we'll keep shooting to try and get a hit in here or there. And we're clutching, importantly, right across from his head. This is the last spot that will end up getting affected. Yeah, he started flashing again. Affected by the destroyers, which is important, because clinging to the wall when you get hit, you know, you're gonna go down if you're flying, but if you're stuck to something, when you get hit, you just keep holding the left button and you'll re-clutch as soon as it's possible, and you'll be able to get in a fair amount more damage that way. As you can see, I'm not having good timing on changing my crests, or my talismans, but that's just the way this guy really likes it. And I'm sort of really want to get in damage on this guy. Staying alive is important, by all means it is, but... And we're back to his other form. The sort of chariot form, I always didn't really think of it. If you'll notice, his head looks a lot like it was probably part of Flame Lord Steve. This is actually one spot where you do want to turn to Fang against him and pump him full of as much as you possibly can, and then rush underneath him. And switch to the armor if you're not going to make it, because he is the only safe spot right now, and that water does a lot of damage. When you get to about 3 health is... Oh, he's being generous today. Is when you really... want to hurry up with the healing. So, we're going to do that right now. I know I got below 3 health, and yeah, by the way, don't even count on the pinks. Unless it's green, it doesn't count for this battle. But whenever that thing disappears, you know that's going to mean that he's reappearing in his weak form. Well, not weak by any means, but in his angel form, which is simply more vulnerable. The little balls he sends out are what's destroying the walls, in case I haven't noted on this playthrough. They will hurt you if they hit you, but they're not really a big concern. His wings and the falling walls are definitely his main attacks. And you want to be careful that you don't end up falling down into the area that will hurt you, obviously, because he has enough ways to hurt you without you negligently keeping yourself in harm's way. And considering that fling back you get from being hurt, that's the real main reason that you're sticking to the wall. Because otherwise, you're just gonna, if you try and hover in front of this guy, he'll hit you, you'll fall, and that's bad times for everyone besides him, because he doesn't really mind too much. Oh, and as an FYI, no spells are useful in this battle at all, and besides, you're going to be harvesting all that money. Do you really want to waste any of it on something like an imp? Which is I don't even think it could hurt it. And that was excellent timing, really, because... Although I want to switch to another ginseng just in case. Hopefully, he shouldn't cause me too much trouble in this form. He has some nasty attacks. But I totally didn't use that timing very well. Really, though, it's just that he's not worth attacking. There's not enough of a time to do it. He's constantly spamming those out. And while, yes, the other form is too, and you really should get in whatever hits you can, he's not worth it. You don't have enough time to really do enough damage for it to be worthwhile, especially not when he has this form that'll just stand there for you and make it all the easier. When he's doing this, again, switch back to armor. So then at least that charge hit'll get something in there, if you can manage to remember doing that. Honestly, he's such a huge pain that a lot of your thought processes are just going to be distracted because there's so much on screen. You start to feel a little bit frantic, so I apologize if that's coming across. supposed to be the last place he destroys. I guess every so often he likes to prove me wrong. But really, we've sort of lost this fight in a way, because we can't stay at his level constantly as accurately anymore, and that's going to affect us. Luckily, though, I think we may still be able to pull this one through. I'm not entirely certain. There's no real way to do this battle without getting at least a little bit phased, and I keep missing these opportunities to rapid fire at him while he's trying to do that to me. It's very hard with that little ball floating around to keep a good high altitude with his other attacks. But he's switching again. And because we're not doing so well in the life situation, we're almost out of ginsengs, I will be staying armor more than usual at this point, most likely just because of a fear of dying, and having to do this whole boss again. And since it's not like he has different forms that are in terms of, like, different modes, there's not really a good place for me to be able to cut this and save this. So I've been having to keep restarting this battle. So yeah, you don't want to get behind him because of all the wing flaps come from that direction if you haven't noticed. And yeah, at this point, little things he sends out to the walls are entirely pointless. He really could save his strength, but since it's really the only thing he actively tries to do, I guess I can't fault him for trying to do it. I just need to switch back to armor more often, especially when I said I was going to. And it's really, really hard to know where you stand with this guy. But I think one of the most important things would be to just think of it as the more he's staying alive, and he's got the same life no matter what. You're the one with the less life. If you can keep yourself alive, it's probably important in this battle. And was this the last ginseng? I want to say that it was, so we might be doing this again. It was, so hopefully he behaves and dies like a good demon soon, because I would like to stop doing this. Yeah, without the walls here, this battle gets a lot more hectic. You have a little bit more maneuverability when you're not clinging to a wall, but his attacks are so fast, and I'll be perfectly honest, Firebrand is a little bit slower than I normally prefer my protagonists. I'm not very good at controlling a non-agile hero, and I can do it. It's just not my preference, so it's not what I'm best at. Yeah, at this point I realize I'm going to die, but it's gone. Finally. As you can see, there was no indication it was finally going to go, but there it is. The Dark Demon is down. Whew. It's a very hectic battle. I'm really glad to be done with it. But Firebrand slayed the Dark Demon, who had lurked deep within the human world. So I guess he's sort of the boss of their world. Realizing that his true power was not derived from the crests, he got back up on the same cliff he threw the crests off before. Firebrand disposed of all the crests, yet had the form of the ultimate gargoyle, and set forth for the demon realm. So as indicated, this has entirely taken place in the human realm, which is why we've only really seen one demon, where he hoped to find a true warrior. A warrior with whom he could once again taste glory of battle. Also, Firebrand is from Ghosts and Ghouls, or Ghosts and Goblins, so it's kind of weird he didn't just go back to try and find that guy, but I guess he's already been dead. Thanks. And the true end. With this awesome picture of Firebrand, and the two little gargoyles in the back. So now you've seen both of the good endings. The last real thing to show you is the bad ending, which I'll do after the cut. But yeah, let's just get to that now. A little fade to black, and now I'll see you after the cut.